Let's take you here now. The funeral service of 6-year-old Bohlale Tlhonolofatso Lekekela is underway at the Eben-Haezar Pentacost Church in Welkom in the Free State. That's one of the victims one of the 14 victims of Monday's horrific scholar transport crash, where the minibus taxi collided with a truck. Let's take you to our colleague now, Ish Mamudeba, who has got the latest for us on that. Ish, definitely a sad moment for these families. We've been crisscrossing the country to some of these areas where these families are laying their little ones to rest. It's been devastating scenes.
Indeed, a devastating scene that we have witnessed throughout this week. And the mourners, speaker after speaker, speaking in this particular church where we are, spoke about the devastation that is not being faced by the family, but is faced by the entire country, where they were saying that the country is still shocked. And those who were speaking on the podium made a solemn plea to say, not to the taxi drivers, but to all the drivers in South Africa who are transporting learners, to say, let us be extra cautious and careful when we are transporting these learners, because one incident is one too many, as they were saying, that there is a need for all the drivers to make sure that they have show courteous to other drivers on the road, so that we can curtail some of this incident that we have been witnessing over the past holidays, December holidays, even up until now when the schools have reopened. But on a lighter note, during the service, the school principal of El Shaddai Primary School, where Bohlale Lekekela was a learner, spoke jovial about how bubbly the Bohlale was. She's saying one of the things that she's going to miss was her coming to her office on daily basis without being asked to come to her office, but just to come to the school principal, Nontombi Buthelezi, to say, ma'am, you are beautiful and I like the way you interact with us. And she says those are some of the things that, to getting those kind words from Bohlale and asking for, getting a hug from Bohlale just to appreciate her. So she says Bohlale was among some of her many angels that she used to have at school, but with this incident, they are heartbroken and they are dealing with it, as she is here with some of the school members, because as the school, they have to share themselves to come to Bohlale, as she is staying with her parents here in Welkom, just to express their condolences to the family, to say that whatever happens, it happens. It's the will of God. They don't know what happened, but God is the one who knows better, and they must just accept it and move on as family. And the principal said she was shocked on that particular Monday, because while she was on her way to school, she thought it was a traffic patrol along the road, because there seemed to have been a delay on the road. But it's only when they arrived closer to the accident then she realized that no, something had happened, and she decided to stop. At that particular point, she wanted to make sure that none of her learners are in that particular crash, only to find out, identifying by the uniform. That's when she was able to pick up that one of her school learners or her learners were involved in that accident. And she said from then she has been shattered and she has been lost for words. And that's the situation here, as you can see behind us, that the funeral service is now leaving the church. It's on its way to Pumlani graveyard, where the remains of Bohlale will be laid to rest.
Ish, thank you very much indeed. Indeed a sad moment for many of these families, with some of those learners being laid to rest today, including where you are. Also in Sebokeng on the Vaal, we know there's another funeral taking place there. In fact, I've just seen a statement come from the Gauteng provincial government, in fact the education department, telling us that that massive funeral for the others will be taking place in Sebokeng, and this is at the very same venue where the memorial service had taken place yesterday. Most of the families, in fact all of those families, speaking about their loved ones, exactly how you're describing this little one, and how kind they were, so much ahead for them in life. Thank you very much indeed, Ish, for that update. In fact, that joint funeral service of the late Vanderbijlpark learners taking place tomorrow at the Sol Tsotetsi Sports Ground. That's in Sebokeng. That's the very same venue where the memorial service took place yesterday. That is the joint funeral service for these young ones. And that, of course, will be covered by the SABC. And we will bring you developments there live. And expectations, of course, are that we'll have in attendance there the bereaved families as well as the community members who came out in their large numbers yesterday for that memorial service. It was devastating scenes, you know, with emergency services that had been on standby and many of the families just unable to come to terms with what has taken place, describing many of these young people who've had, some would be future leaders in their communities as having, gone too soon. Many of them calling for action, many of them calling for accountability, including the Gauteng Education MEC, Matume Chilwane, who says that justice will be served in this matter. Of course, you would know that on Thursday, the person charged with their murder, facing 14 counts of murder, abandoning his bail, and the National Prosecuting Authority having changed the charges that he faced from culpable homicide to murder. That case, of course, will be back in court once again. The families, of course, now dealing with the loss. And tomorrow, that joint funeral service will be taking place in Sebokeng.